This video was made for educational purposes only. Mysterious disappearances have long captivated the human imagination, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unresolved endings. Inexplicable vanishings have been documented throughout history, from ancient times to the modern era, adding a layer of intrigue and sorrow to the fabric of human experience. These disappearances, devoid of logical explanations or clear resolutions, often defy conventional understanding and challenge our perceptions of reality. Individuals simply vanish into thin air, leaving loved ones and investigators baffled and haunted by the enigma of their absence. The void left behind by a missing person echoes with uncertainty, fear, and a sense of unreality, shattering the illusion of safety and stability that we often take for granted in our daily lives. The reasons behind these mysterious disappearances vary, ranging from criminal activities such as kidnappings and abductions to natural disasters, accidents, or even voluntary disappearances driven by personal reasons. Each case represents a unique blend of circumstances, emotions, and unknown factors that converge to create a compelling narrative of loss and intrigue. Despite the advancements in technology, forensic science, and investigative techniques, some disappearances remain shrouded in mystery, defying attempts at resolution and closure. The enduring allure of these unsolved cases lies in their ability to tap into our deepest fears, our curiosity about the unknown, and our yearning for answers in a world that sometimes refuses to yield them. So, the phenomenon of people vanishing without a trace serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of human existence, the unpredictability of life, and the enduring power of mystery to both captivate and confound us. It's cases like this that stand as testament to the limits of our understanding and the complexities of fate. Therefore, it's up to channels like ours to dive deep into the rabbit holes of reality and search for truth and meaning in the face of the unknowable. So, with that being said, get ready and grab your investigative hats, because in this video, we're going to take a quest through the bunny's nest as we try to unravel the secrets of the Jamison family case. Living in a lakeside home in Eufaula, Oklahoma in 2009, the Jamison family appeared to be your typical American family. However, they were looking for a more remote place to live, so they scheduled a viewing for a 40-acre plot of land close to Red Oak, Oklahoma. Despite their request not to have the property's realtor present, the family showed up for the viewing. Although the family's truck was located, it took more than a week for others to discover that they were missing. The family's remains would not be found for more than 4 years, and the discovery of their bodies only led to more questions. Some family members think this was just a tragic accident, while internet sleuths and in-house detectives speculate that it was a drug deal gone wrong or even a ritual cult sacrifice. What is the true fate of the Jamison family, you may be asking? Well, no worries, because over the length of this video we are going to explore the many theories of this mysterious case. The Jamison family resided in Eufaula, Oklahoma, in 2009. Bobby Jamison, age 44, his wife Sherilyn Jamison, age 40, and their daughter Madison, 6, made up the family. In 2004, the couple tied the knot, and Madison joined them shortly after. There was another son that Sherilyn had from a prior relationship, but at that time he was living with his father. Though they might have been living beyond their means, the family was said to have a high standard of living. They owned several timeshares in the US and Mexico in addition to their lakefront house. The family was also deeply religious to the point where they had paranoia about ghosts breaking into their house. At the time of their disappearance, both Sherilyn and Bobby were disabled and jobless. In 2003, Bobby was involved in an automobile accident that left him with a long-term back injury. Since the death of her sister in an unusual bee sting accident, Sherilyn has battled depression. In addition, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she occasionally skipped doses of her meds. Although there were only about 3,000 people living in the town of Eufaula at the time, the couple was thinking about leaving by October 2009 and finding a more peaceful place to live. They couldn't have known that this decision would ultimately lead them to their tragic fate. About 50 miles from Eufaula, in the Red Oak, Oklahoma area of Latimer County, Bobby and Sherilyn were thinking about buying a 40-acre plot of property. The San Bois Mountains surround the area they were looking into. Though it is unclear exactly why, the Jamison family intended to relocate to the San Bois Mountains and live in metal shipping containers. For whatever reason, they did not want the real estate agent to attend the showing, but they still intended to view the property on their own. Although it is thought that the Jamisons arrived safely because their truck was discovered in the nearby area, nobody has ever seen them again after that chilly October day. The last time the family was spotted was October 9, 2009. It was reported that the temperature that day was about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very cold and can result in hypothermia if a person is not dressed appropriately or gets wet. However, no one was aware of the Jamisons' disappearance for some time because they were a reclusive family who rarely spoke with friends or family. It's a wonder if any of the family members, if not all three of them, may not have perished if someone would have noticed sooner that they had been missing. Alarms were not raised until after more than a week had passed and someone had discovered their abandoned truck. Maisie, the family pet, was discovered inside the truck dangerously close to starvation and dehydration. After informing the authorities of the situation, the search would finally begin. On October 17, 8 days after the couple vanished from view, the family's truck was found, and it was filled with some interesting things. Along with the family's coats, a GPS unit, several maps, cell phones, and approximately $32,000 in cash had been left inside. Additionally, an 11-page letter that was most likely written by Sherilyn was found in the truck. She stated in the letter that she wanted a divorce. The authorities used helicopter patrols, all available resources, and more to search for the missing family. The searchers found it more challenging to maneuver through the rocky terrain and some steep cliffsides due to the early wet and muddy conditions. When asked about the truck, Latimer County Sheriff Israel Beecham said, "I think they were forced to stop and got out of the truck to meet with someone they recognize. I think they left on their own volition or under pressure," he stated. Bobby's cell phone contained a few final photos of Madison sitting in front of a rock. There are people who claim that Madison appears scared or uncomfortable in the photos. She has her arms crossed and a half of a smile on her face, but it does not seem like a legitimate happy smile. One witness said that there were fresh tire tracks leading away from the Jamisons' truck, making him believe that the family perhaps got into another vehicle. However, a different witness, who was also the last known to have seen the family, stated that he never saw the family drive up or down the mountain, nor did he see anyone else drive back down. His house was located in a mountainous area about a quarter of a mile from Jamison's truck, so he was likely aware of anyone else entering or leaving the area. Investigators clearly questioned this witness, but I could not find any evidence that he was ever ruled out completely. The couple had some problems with a family friend who had been staying with them. Sherilyn allegedly forced the man to leave at gunpoint, even shooting bullets into the ground near his feet. But authorities investigated and cleared this man in connection with the family's disappearance. The Jamisons' pastor also came forward, giving the police information about the things Bobby had discussed with him in the weeks leading up to his disappearance. Bobby began seeing ghosts around his house and reportedly asked the pastor if there was a bullet they made that would kill them. In addition, Bobby purportedly read from a satanic Bible to fend off the ghosts. Bobby may have been experiencing mental health problems, but this information increased the likelihood. Last but certainly not least, Sherilyn asserted that in the weeks before the family vanished, someone had poisoned her cats. She spray-painted some sayings, such as "witches do not like it when their cats are killed," on the side of the shipping container the family intended to live in. Due to their decision to pull their daughter Madison out of kindergarten, and their intention to sue the Eufaula school district, it was safe to say that the Jamison family had some issues with the school. It is unclear what the couple intended to sue for, but Madison had been expelled from classes, which is why the school failed to report her missing. In 2009, Bobby filed a lawsuit against his parents, alleging that his father had deceived him into performing work for free. According to reports, the agreement stated that Bobby would eventually own a 50% share in the company. Additionally, Bobby claimed that his father had made multiple threats to kill him and his family. Investigators searched claims and lawsuits for any evidence of a connection to the family's disappearance, but they were unable to discover any. In addition, investigators were able to rule out Bobby's father rather early because he was a resident of a nursing home at the time the family disappeared. It had been just a few months that had passed since the family vanished. Investigators looked into the drug angle because there were rumors circulating that Bobby and Sherilyn were both meth users. These rumors may have been strengthened by the strange surveillance footage that was taken at the Jamisons' residence the day they vanished. Some people thought that the Jamisons were high on something because they were packing their truck in what looked like a trance-like state the day they vanished. Ultimately, despite searching the truck and the family home, investigators were unable to uncover any proof that the Jamisons were either purchasing or selling drugs. Sherilyn is seen in the surveillance footage packing a brown briefcase into the truck, which is another noteworthy detail. This brown briefcase has never been found and was not discovered with the truck. What was in the briefcase and its possible location are unknown to this day. A few of the Jamisons' friends and relatives were certain that the family had been abducted, possibly even forced into captivity. Given the significant belongings the family had left in the truck, they appeared to have departed quickly, leaving behind a large quantity of cash, their phones, and the family dog. So, to some people, this theory made some sense. Nevertheless, no information or hints suggesting a potential kidnapping could ever be made public by the authorities. When deer hunters were in the Smokestack Hollow area in 2013, they came across what they believed to be human remains. After informing the authorities of the find, they were sent to the medical examiner after it was determined that the partial remains were, in fact, human. The family's pickup truck was left about 3 miles from where the remains were discovered. The bodies were reportedly discovered face down, side by side, in the ground. The positions of the bodies are strange, and many people have expressed suspicions that evildoers may have purposefully left them in this manner. The medical examiner did not formally confirm that the bodies discovered on the mountain belonged to the Jamison family until July 2014. However, because of the body's advanced stages of decomposition, the cause of death could not be ascertained. The autopsy results were made public by the medical examiner, who said that no signs of trauma had been found and that the family's cause of death was unknown. But it was impossible to completely rule out foul play because the remains were incomplete because of weather and animal predation. The report mentioned Bobby's small hole in the back of his skull, which might have been caused by a bullet. But it is also possible that this was caused by animals by becoming prey after they died. There are a lot of different theories regarding what happened to the Jamison family because so much time has gone by since the case's inception. Some suggest that the family was being plagued by demons and that's why they ended up dead in the mountains, although some aren't sure we need to go looking for any supernatural explanations for their deaths. It is plausible that the family became lost and ultimately perished due to environmental factors in this instance. They might have frozen to death if they had spent the entire night outside in the cold without their coats, since their jackets and coats were discovered inside the truck. That being said, although it is still possible to develop hypothermia in temperatures around 40 degrees Fahrenheit is chilly but not extremely so. The lengthy letter that Sherilyn had written to Bobby made it obvious that there were issues in the Jamison marriage. It was also reported that Sherilyn had bipolar disorder and other mental health conditions, and that she always carried a .22 caliber handgun. Apart from the letter that Sherilyn left in the Jamisons' truck, there was another letter that talked about death that was discovered in their house. They were definitely a family obsessed with death, said Latimer County Sheriff Israel Beecham at the time of the couple's disappearance. I think Sherilyn would have used a gun to take control of the situation if she had intended to kill her husband and child before taking her own life. Sherilyn was 5 feet 7 inches and 105 pounds, while Bobby is listed as 6 feet 3 inches and 170 pounds. She probably could not have subdued her husband with her hands alone. Again, this theory could work. A .22 caliber bullet, the kind that Sherilyn was purportedly carrying, could pierce a human skull. Nevertheless, the autopsy report states that there was no sign of gunshots on the bodies, unless you think Bobby's hole in the skull was caused solely by a bullet wound. In all fairness, it very well might have been. though it seems likely that the bullet would have been discovered in the skull cavity or that there would have been some indication of an exit wound elsewhere on the skull. Furthermore, if a gun was used, would not Sherilyn and Madison's remains also bear evidence of gunshots? Furthermore, a gun would have been discovered at the scene if Sherilyn had used one to take their lives, but none was found. There are those who propose that the strange demises of the Jamison family are the result of a ritualistic cult ordeal. Connie Coco Tan, who is Sherilyn's mother, thinks the family was unalived by a religious cult. Although Coco Tan is adamant that the deaths of the Jamison family were caused by a cult, she has not identified which cult specifically. She has claimed that the cult kept her daughter on some kind of hit list though. Jack Jamison, Bobby's uncle, has also expressed his belief that foul play was involved. It is unclear though, if he believes it is because of a cult or some other kind of ritualistic crime. According to others, a botched drug deal is what caused the end of the Jamison family. I would be more likely to accept this theory if the authorities had discovered drug evidence in the family's residence, but they have not made any public records suggesting the family's drug use. This entire case is a strange one for a variety of reasons. Questions remained about what happened to the Jamison family even after their bodies were discovered and identified. There are those who doubt the M theory, even though the deceased's family members think they were offed. Since the autopsy report was ambiguous, many people have conjectured about the precise events that occurred. Although I am not positive about what happened to the Jamison family, there is a possibility that foul play isn't a factor. There is certainly a case to be made for foul play, although perhaps a weaker one than the other theories. What happened to the briefcase that Sherilyn put into the truck on the day of the family's disappearance? The briefcase has never been found, nor do we know what was in it. However, you would undoubtedly think the culprit or culprits would have undoubtedly taken the $32,000 in cash from the truck if there had been foul play involved. A firearm would have probably been used by the perpetrator to subdue the family, and the autopsy report showed no evidence of obvious bullet wounds. If you accept that Bobby's skull's hole was caused by a bullet wound, then why did Sherilyn's and Madison's bodies appear to be unharmed? Did the offender strangle the mother and child after shooting the father? Could they not just fire a few more times with the gun? Some people believe the likelihood that the Jamison family lost their way back to the wilderness and wandered off, possibly as a result of mental illness. This does not explain why the bodies were discovered next to each other, but it is difficult for some to think that foul play was involved given that none of the victims' bodies had any visible trauma, such as gunshot or stabbing wounds. Sherilyn's son from a previous relationship stated that he'd seen his mother just a few weeks before the family went missing, and she didn't mention anything about moving to the San Bois Mountains, and why she didn't mention such a big life change to her son is odd, most people think. All in all, this is a perplexing and depressing case in which the exact fate of the Jamison family remains unknown. The body's lengthy stay in the San Bois Mountains took their toll, and any answers we had in this case were obscured by the environment and predators. The Jamison family's deaths probably would not be such a mystery today if the bodies had been found sooner, within a month or so. Whatever the circumstances, the surviving relatives and loved ones should be given answers and closure. Maybe there is someone out there who can bring them that tranquility. Sadly, since the autopsy results were made public in 2014, there have not been many updates regarding the Jamison family deaths. Even though their bodies have been located, there are a lot of unsolved questions regarding this case. Please call the Latimer County Sheriff's Department at 918-465-4012 if you know anything about what happened to the Jamison family. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video through its entirety. Your support truly means the world to me. And if you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, turn on all notifications, and share it with your friends. Remember, your feedback keeps me motivated and helps me create even better content for you, so if you would like to see more videos about the creepy and mysterious, just like this one, then check back in a couple days, because I post new videos once or twice a week. Well, until next time, thank you again, and stay awesome.